Hey tubers, here we have my Englander Stoveworks 55-SHPEPL pellet stove, and I started taking it apart because it was backing up into the burn pot. It really needs to be cleaned. I haven't cleaned it in a while. I did clean it at the beginning of the heating season, but the Green Team pellets I've got from Lowe's, you can see I'm using a bag here for parts. They're not really burning the cleanest, and you can see there's lots of ash up there and in the chambers down here. So basically I decided to make a video halfway through here because I thought maybe others would have similar issues. It's starving out and getting clogged and stuff. So I'm going to take the burn pot chamber out. I've got the backing plate out. That comes out with 2 bolts, and they are, you can't see it on the camera probably, but they are 8mm, and those are these 2 here. There's one that holds it in here and here, and you can see match up there, and you can see it had a real good burn going to it. I woke up this morning, it was not a happy stove, so I'm taking it apart to clean it. The 2 covers that go down here, they also have 2 8mm bolts that go in them, so you can use the same socket. Those are going to get cleaned. And then this has this whole piece assembly, I believe, comes out. This is the first time taking it apart, and there are 4 13mm bolts, and I'll show you that when it comes out. And then I'll just take the vacuum and clean it up, and I'll take this plate out as well and clean up behind there, and hopefully that will solve most of my issue. I'm also going to run the brush up the chimney real quick too, so stay tuned. Alright, so I got the burn pot housing out. You can see it's pretty dirty. I've never had this part quite this far apart before. This is the first time I'm cleaning it this good. This is the second heating season I've had this. It was brand new last heating season, so didn't really need to clean it. My dad told me to take it apart and clean it, and hopefully that will help my flame issue. I'll put, I mean, you can see some of the burn marks and stuff in there. Some of it's normal. I'll put some pictures up of what it was doing. I didn't think to take any video. This is the igniter. This is the air inlet tube. I believe these chambers on the side here also have to do with air intake, but I'm not sure. So we're going to basically clean it up, and like I said, I'm going to run the brush up the chimney, and hopefully that will solve my burn starving issue. So I'll show you how I put it all back together, get the glass nice and clean. It's pretty simple to take apart. You just got to be careful. This fiberglass gasket here, I'll probably have to get a new one, but for now it should be okay because it's cold out and we need heat. So alright, so now you can see that I've got it mostly cleaned. A little bit more vacuuming to do before I put it back together, and then I gotta, like I said, I gotta run the brush up the chimney. So these holes were all clogged here, and that's probably part of the problem. Like I said, I've never had it apart this far before, so I've got to put it back together. I'll show you how it goes back together. I'm going to start by putting this piece in once I clean it. Then we'll put the upper panel in. We've also got to do these can pretty much go on any time before the fake brick goes back in. So a little bit more cleaning to do, then we'll start putting it back together. Okay, so now I've got the burn pot assembly back into place. We're going to take our 4 13mm bolts and stick them back into the holes. You're going to get them lined up just like that. I'm using a 3/8 ratchet with a couple of extensions, and sorry for the darkness, I don't have a lot of light down here. You can kind of get one started, and then we'll move on to getting the other side started. And once those are back in, I will put the rest of it, I'll show you the next step. Get the panel covers here cleaned up, I'll put those back in, then I'll put the top tray back in, and then it should be mostly ready to fire off. Alright, so now I'm ready to put the panels, these covers back on over here. These are 8mm bolts. Unfortunately, I probably can't do it while holding the camera, but I've got them cleaned and they sit in here like that. cover those up, and you take those two 8mm 6-point bolts that go in each one of them, and I go through the front here. I've got some extensions on a 1/4-inch ratchet, and those will be back into place. Alright, so we've got the upper plate back in. Upper plate is back in place. It's a little tricky to get in. It just sits in there. There's two little tabs that sit there. The fake brick is also back into place. I've got to put two 8mm bolts back in here, and then I can put the burn pot itself in and the ashtray back in, and this should be pretty much ready to fire off, and hopefully that has corrected my burn issue. I'll have to replace these fake bricks at some point because they're getting quite worn. That was one of the problems with this unit people were complaining about. So, alright, this unit right here is the burn pot itself, and that sits in here just like that, and the igniter is there. You probably can't see it. The pellets shoot down the chute and into here. This design kind of stinks because when the pellets come down, it splashes ash everywhere, so it makes quite a bit of a mess with this particular unit. Alright, so you can see that the stove is back together. It's in startup mode, and hopefully in a few hours after running, I will be able to see if that corrected my issue. Alright, so the stove is run overnight, and the cleaning definitely helped. You can see it's burning much better. So basically, word of the wise, make sure you clean your stove real good once in a while. You can see it's burning much cleaner now, and the soot is going away, and it's been running probably for a good 8 to 10 hours, and it's been much better.